Happy holidays, everyone. I hope you're enjoying some great Christmas movies this time of year, like these two classics.
All kids, no parents. Probably a fancy orphanage.
Champagne, please. It's free, isn't it?
These movies are simply amazing. They came out in the early 90s, and what was such a silly premise became a massive success. The first one, even some of the actors thought it would be a giant bust. Instead, now it's become an instant classic. Its sequel followed suit, changing the setting to New York and remaining equally as magical. And then the series decided to have 3 more movies. Home Alone 3 stunk, Home Alone 4 stunk, Home Alone 5 stunk, and Home Alone... They're planning a Home Alone 6? Oh, can't we just let this series be? What happened to this once magical series? Simple answer, they made shitty sequels. How about let's pull the gift bag and dive right into this video. If there's one thing entertainment is pushing down our throats, it is sequels. If you liked it before, you'll want to watch it again and we will make money. And many are some of the best movies out there. Think of Terminator 2, an amazing movie and they somehow made it even more amazing. And then some of these have just led to some amazing series of movies. Then some are not quite that.
Oh my God, everybody down!
But regardless, there will be a sequel no matter how shitty the movies are.
There is only one group we can turn to.
Sorry about that.
This certainly is something we did not need, and we certainly did not need it twice. So no need to ask the question whether a movie, a book, a video game, or anything should get a sequel. It will. A better question to ask is how will that sequel be good? It requires 2 things. 1, for the first one not to be complete dog shit, and 2, for the second one to keep a similar baseline to the story but only add enhancements to it. Go back to Terminator 2 and they took the idea of robots coming from the future to kick everyone's ass, but this time around they had Arnold, who was the bad guy in the first movie, be the good guy to kick an even scarier robot's ass. Now that's what I want to say is a good way to enhance a really good movie. Speed 2 decided not to do this.
I do believe we have a miss.
Impossible! No!
This is not an enhancement. Speed 2 was like going from an Aston Martin to a Chevy. Fuck this guy. With that out of the way, how about let's go back to those main films. So the number 1 key is the first movie can't be dog shit, and Home Alone is certainly not dog shit. It's about our young 8-year-old hero, Kevin McAllister, whose family leaves him home alone. He slowly becomes the psychopath he is today, as he saves his family's house from the wet bandits. All around Christmas time for some fun reason. What was a pretty silly and wacky premise is now the epic Christmas movie that it is today. So no doubt it checks the first box, but how about the sequel? The script is basically the same, but this time it features New York City, the dude who played the original Pennywise, and even wackier, more deadly traps by that psychopath to now trap these sticky bandits, the renamed wet bandits.
Let's go. Remember, if this makes the papers, we're no longer the wet bandits, we're the sticky bandits! Ah! That's sticky!
The sequel basically takes the same ideas, the same baseline, and just adds to it. In this case, it has to add more of the wackiness, because that's what the movies are kind of based around. And you know what? It's fucking awesome. The stretch where the sticky bandits try to traverse the booby-trapped house is probably the most I'll ever laugh. If you want to shed a few pounds and you're a lazy fuck who won't go to the gym, watch this scene. You'll laugh the pounds off. So right there, we have 2 movies that are clearly not dog shit. I wish our story ends there, but as Marv says, never! That's right, there's a chance for a sequel, or a trequel, or whatever the fuck it's called when you make another movie. They'll make it. Let's start with number 3. Some sick kid with chickenpox that has absolutely nothing to do with the original cast or original storyline gets a remote card with some Chinese chip in it or some shit that global criminals have stolen and tempts those criminals to get the card back. They go through the booby-trapped house this chickenpox kid has set up, and what happens? They all get chickenpox. I'll say of all the sequels, this is probably the cleanest shit, but it only vaguely follows the initial premise, and they're trying to add enhancements on how they're more high-class criminals, and they're kind of going away from the wackiness of the original movies. Leads to what is a pretty crappy movie. And the shits only get stinkier with number 4. This time we have low-budget Kevin McAllister instead of the amazing Macaulay whose life was just hitting its post-child actor stardom stride. He stays with his dad at his rich girlfriend's house where they try to hold down the fort from a low-budget Marv with extremely toned-down traps. This really has nothing to do with the original Home Alone. They basically wrote Kevin McAllister and Marv into it for no reason. It's just some kid trying to catch a criminal. This is a movie in which every actor or actress basically gave up as soon as they read the script. I'll be honest, I'd actually rather eat dog shit than watch this movie. And then we have to move on to number 5. It features the only kid in which it's socially acceptable to punch him in the face, absolutely nothing to do with the McAllister family, and they protect their house from Malcolm McDowell and his friends because there's a safe in it, or some dumb shit like that. Look, if you enjoy watching god-awful movies, then this is the movie for you. And if you want a bad taste to your mouth, you don't have to eat dog shit. Watching this movie will get the job done for you. It's really going bad right now, and they seem to be making a 6th movie.
Excuse me, I have to go and vomit.
Sure, there's a chance this movie will be good because who knows, there's things happen, but I'd say the odds are better that Santa Claus will take care of coronavirus for Christmas. I know it's on top of everyone's list, but I don't think St. Nick's coming through this time. So why did the first 2 Home Alone movies works? Well, they followed the classic sequel formula where the first movie wasn't dog shit and the second movie only added to it. In this case, it basically added more wackiness. The following movies did not do that, altering the premise and just adding more dog shit rather than enhancing the original films. It's a shame too, because those first 2 movies were goddamn legendary, and they will probably always remain legendary. But right now, we just have to accept this series is as good as Roadkill and just have to move forward. And this will conclude my Winter Month videos for this year. It was fun to make them, as it always is. And as this wise man once said,
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.